Hello everybody, happy weekend and thank you for joining me in today's video. After last week's pink explosion, I want to work a little bit more with blues and greens. It's my comfort zone, I love it, I love the combination. So what I want to do is work with the Indanthrone blue as the background and then also bring in a little bit of the phthalo blue, which I have in the stick form, but that's just to maybe lighten up this blue a little bit more. And then I have sap green, rich green gold, which you will notice once I put it on the paper is a little bit more yellow than it is green. And then the nickel azo yellow. These two I want to add a little bit more as a brightener to lighten up certain areas, and mixing in with the blue they will make another green. I want to be a little bit more precise today as I'm working, and I know I say that now. But my plan is to start with yellow and green first, and then come in a little bit more with the sap green, and then I want to add the background that is blue and see where we go from there. That is the plan for today. I am working with the Hahnemühle watercolor paper. I'm going to put that to the side now because we don't need it anymore. And I have taped it off on the back side. I like working on the back side of the paper because it is a little bit more textured, and I like that. The front is very smooth, and that might work for some projects, but I just like it because it gives the colors a little bit more tooth and a little bit more interest. If you have any questions, you can always leave a comment. I try to get to your questions the best that I can, and as always, everything that I use is listed in the description box below the video, so you can have a look at it. It has been a few days, and this is now completely dry, and I can put the next layer on top. I felt a little stumped after I came back to look at it because all I can see is lemons and leaves. So that's not what I'm going for, although it could look really cool. I am more inclined to just use these shapes as a background for my decorations that I want to put on. So I almost started, and then I decided to not do that and instead take a picture of this and upload it into Procreate to see if I can come up with a design. And it took me a couple of tries, but eventually I came up with this. This is shapes and some leaves. I do like the leaves in there. This is just to get me started. There are certain things that I definitely want to copy, but I am taking liberty in making changes, obviously, because you start working on it and then something else pops into mind and then you add it. The mock-up is definitely not done. This is just like the first layer, and then after that, there will be doodles and lines and other things implemented. So, but this is something that kickstarted my next step. So that is a very helpful tool for me. Obviously, you can make a photocopy of this and then do it manually. And I could have done that, but I was in the mood to just upload it in Procreate and do it that way. So the first thing that I did in the mock-up was to make a line through here. When I'm not sure how to proceed, or that the paper feels too big and there's, no distinct areas that will pop out to me, then I like to maybe start with a divider. That helps me just focus on one area, and that is what I'm going to do now. So I'm going to take this Indanthrone blue and I'm going to start, let me bring that back up. I'm going to start putting this line here. And I might do more, I might do less, I might make them bigger, I might make them smaller. So I don't know. But this is what I want to do first. And my imaginary line is these green dots and then this yellow dot here. And even though, it doesn't really match in the original picture, we will be able to manipulate it and make it part of this line. And that's okay. I mean, it doesn't all have to be the same anyway. But it's just sometimes I get stuck in certain color schemes or shapes, and my brain feels like it has to do exactly that, and that is definitely not the case. And this is part of the reason also why I love this this style so much, because it gives me a lot of freedom to just continue with what I am feeling in the moment. So here is our imaginary line. And then we're gonna do, I kind of left the last one hanging a little bit, and there's a glare, sorry. This one is off to the side a little bit. I kind of want to do the same here, because then it feels like an actual path, if that's the right word. So we're just gonna let this one hang off the side too, and just kind of clip this green area like this. And I like that. That looks good to me. So I can go in and refine this a little bit. But for now, this seems good. I kind of wish I had made these lines a little bit thinner. So maybe what I can do is instead go a little bit thicker on those areas. So like this one here. And this one there. That's good. Okay, next up, because I still have the blue, I think I want to do these. I made some swirls. They go here, here. I had another swirl here, but I kind of like the leaves in the corner, in this upper part. So I then deleted the swirl and just went like chook, and then another swirl over here. So I kind of like that. And that also then just gives me 3 swirls instead of 4. And I just like uneven numbers like that. So that worked out really well. Yes, I like that. Okay, so now I can go in and make some of these lines a little bit thicker. All right, so I want to be done with this blue, and I want to bring in these arches. There's 3 arches that I'm also going to paint with the watercolor, but for that I have to activate a little bit more of the sap green, and I might bring in just a little bit of that Indanthrone blue to make it a little bit darker. So I did the first arch in the middle here, so I'm gonna do that. And running out of color here. All right, and then I did the second one here, and I went a little bit further up to include this yellow bit, and then I have one on this side, but this one here is a little bit in my mock-up. Let me show you. In my mock-up, this one is a little bit too wide for me. I think I might either do it a little bit thinner, because they look practically identical and I don't really like that now that I'm looking at it. So I'm gonna make this one a little bit thinner, and then I might add a 4th one down here, but I don't know yet. We're gonna definitely do the 3. Maybe I'll make it tall and skinny. So we'll go up here, and I'm gonna make this one go behind this one maybe, and then come down. I quite like that. I actually like that much better. I like that. I like that better than the one that I mocked up. As comparison, and this is what we have. So the next part is this kind of wonky swirl that we're gonna put in this yellow part here. And when I did this first swirl, I didn't make it as skinny as my mock-up, so that's okay. We're just gonna work with what we've got. And then I can come in and make some of those lines a little bit thicker to add interest. Good, I like that. Here are the swirls, and here is the mock-up. Before I start with the leaves, I want to bring in the white Posca and add some lines in here. Then I can put the leaves over. If I want those lines to be a little bit more visible, I will go in with the paintbrush and the bleed proof white, because I have a tendency to go over it immediately, and the paper doesn't like that with the Poscas. On the bottom here, I have these black lines, and I quite like them. Before I add the leaves, I think I might want to add those, because now this arch is a little bit narrower. The leaves are gonna look different. And we're gonna thicken some of those lines again. We're gonna make it go here. I mean, I could pretend to come around this way. Should we do that? All right, let's do that. It's gonna continue behind and come out this way, and then connect again here. I like that. See, we're always changing things on the fly. And for this one as well. You know what? Maybe we'll just connect those and let those go over. Yes. Let's do that. I kind of like that idea. All right. This is my old set of the Arrtx acrylic markers, and they only have like 3 greens in here. So I'm trying to figure out which 2 I would want. Ooh, definitely not that one. That is too minty. That could work. I definitely like this one the best. At this point, I have reached the doodling process and the embellishing of it all. I'm excited to decorate this, so let's do it.